So about 4 years ago, I came across a video demonstrating an absolutely insane Ivara build. It was hitting millions of damage with every shot, and the damage was growing over time, and eventually it reached the -2 billion damage cap. I've since lost that piece of media, but I've been thinking about it ever since. So in today's video, I'm going to try to recreate that build the best I can, and hopefully we can achieve a similar result. Hello everyone, I'm Flashes. I make gaming content on Warframe, Silksong, and many more games to come. If you like hearing my voice, or if my stuff is useful to you, consider subscribing. It helps the channel, and we're aiming for 200 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm sure we can do it. So first of all, let's get the facts straight. Here's what I vaguely remember about the build that I saw. Number 1, I know it was using a bow of some sort. Number 2, I know that invisibility may have been a part of it. Number 3, I know for sure that it was taking advantage of a bug with Ivara's zipline. And number 4, it was a self-sufficient build in that it didn't utilize an interaction with another Warframe or another thing. Alright, so let's just go through this checklist one by one. If it was using a bow and damage output was the main focus, it must be either the Nataruk or the Artemis bow. Now both of these bows have extremely high damage output, so it's hard to favor one over the other. However, I checked when the Nataruk first came out with the new war update, and it was in December 2021, coincidentally about exactly 4 years ago, which is when I believe I witnessed the video initially. This leads me to believe that the bow being used was indeed the Nataruk, as it would make sense to make a broken build using a freshly new weapon which had the attention of the entire player base. Moving on, Ivara's invisibility grants her a huge 40% headshot bonus, which is applied after all other multipliers. This can easily increase damage output, so it's clear that this was just an extra little thing that the build uses to get some extra damage, but it's not the main mechanic which lets us get to the huge damage numbers in the first place. Now let's get to the main thing that I believe was being used to get the effect we desire, and that is the dashwire. See, Ivara has an augment called empowered Quiver, which grants anyone that stands on a dashwire a critical damage bonus. However, it is a little confusing as it never explicitly stated exactly what this bonus really is. In the game, the mod's description says dashwire grants allies 100% critical damage. But what does that even mean? Does that mean that there's an additional 100% critical damage, i.e. plus 100%? But this is definitely not the case, as during testing, the crit damage multiplier isn't actually doubled. If it was a multiplier, then just 100% would be identical to just multiplying by 1, yielding no impact. But we know it does increase the damage in some way, but just not in a comprehensive way. Even the wiki gave up in actually giving an explanation of what this really does. Perhaps the strangeness of this augment is the reason that old build was possible in the first place. Well, no. At least not anymore. As far as I'm concerned, in the current latest build of the game, the description is actually referencing your ability strength. Wow, what a great way to explain that. But yeah, essentially, whatever your ability strength is for Ivara, that number will be the critical damage multiplier, which will be applied to all types of damage when you are standing on a dashwire. So this means that we can potentially get this multiplier really high if we build for ability strength. So the wiki says that the maximum ability strength possible is plus 237% or 337% ability strength in total, so long as you are solo, which is one of our conditions, number 4. And to do this, I would need a fully upgraded Umbral Intensify, which I was low-key pretty close to, just 2 slots off. But I also like having a life and I don't want to grind endo or credits for this, so we're using base intensify instead. Whoa, relax, we're only missing out on 14%, and I guarantee you that isn't what's going to get us to the -2 billion damage. So what is going to get us to that point? Well, here's some information that I've been keeping from you. I actually know the mechanic which was allowing the person in the video to have their damage continually grow over time. Basically, what you have to do is firstly have empowered Quiver equipped and then shoot a dashwire. Then you kill an enemy, shoot another dashwire, and jump from the old one to the new one. And every time you do this, that crit multiplier is going to increase by 100%, or the value of your ability strength, which for us is 323%. You can imagine just after 20 iterations of this, you would have access to 6,000% crit damage with every shot, and after let's say 100 iterations, you would be getting 32,000% crit damage. Also, we should go invisible to achieve our headshot multiplier as well. Now, let's put that into perspective. The build I use for my Nataruk deals 12,047.5 damage for its charge shot and perfect shot. Since we usually aim to only hit perfect shots with the Nataruk, let's focus on the crit stats for that. For my build, I've got a crit chance above 100%, meaning that every single shot will always be a crit, enabling our huge crit multiplier from Ivara. But we also have a pretty damn high crit damage multiplier of 5.3x. So let's say we did 100 iterations of our process. We would get a 320x crit damage multiplier on top of the modded 5.3x crit damage multiplier, which would ultimately give us 20,624,115.25, which is pretty high, but wait. I said that you would be able to reach the damage cap with this build, but this is very far from being even close to that. Even with the headshot multiplier from Prowl, it barely makes a difference. What is going on? Well, to be completely honest, I actually don't know. The thing is, my memory from that video that I watched is so hazy that I can't remember exactly how this was possible. I've considered that maybe there was another unintended feature of the game that had a play on this, but from my research of the Ivara patch notes, I can't seem to find a patch that would suggest that anything has changed. Well, except for one thing, but I'll get to that in a second. So either I'm overlooking something that may still exist, or some feature that previously allowed this build to do those things has changed. Now keep in mind that there are changes which I do recognize already. The calculation we just did previously is actually impossible. This is because that indefinitely stacking bug has been patched. In reality, when we try to do this in game, we don't get any stacking effect. However, if you use mult augmented and do this process, you still get percentages added to the effect. So if you remember, the empowered Quiver augment literally just uses your ability strength. So you can technically get your crit damage multiplier to 337% plus 256% for a total of 593%. But you need a kill for each increment and 256 of them just to get a total of 593. That doesn't go any further. This wouldn't even break 1 million. It seems like there's just no leads for this mystery except for one little thing. When I was reading through the patch notes, I noticed a little something that was very vague and very mysterious. Some might even say it was ominous. See, on the 6th of May in 2022, there was a patch which is stated as fixed script error related to Ivara's Quiver. And that's it. That's right. This is the entire patch note. Supposedly, they fixed an undisclosed script error that was related to Ivara's Quiver. In my opinion, that's such a weird way to describe such a thing. But hey, empowered Quiver is literally an augment for Ivara's Quiver ability. But what is a script error in the first place? Well, script errors encompass an array of different possibilities, but it's usually talking about some smaller script in the game causing the greater game to lag, glitch, or even crash. But it can also describe something in the game malfunctioning. Perhaps this patch note is describing the very thing that previously allowed Ivara to reach the damage cap following the conditions I outlined from my memory. But why is this patch note so strangely written compared to all of the other patch notes which feature at least some level of detail? And why has the video I watched all those years ago completely disappeared? This isn't normal. I searched for hours trying to find that one video, but it's as if the algorithm is hiding it away. Or maybe the video has been deleted to be forever erased and our eyes to never lay witness on it again. But I'm just one man, and one man alone can rarely accomplish more than an army. So I'm asking all of you if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've seen the video that I saw, and maybe even better, you know how this whole thing worked. I beseech you, reveal the truth to me if you are in possession of it. That was kind of cringe. My best theory is that since the video contained footage of a game-breaking bug being taken advantage of, that the person who made the video had his account banned and or the video forced to be taken down. DE has done this before with another infamous Warframe creator who shall not be named. This video is a bit weird. It started off as a build guide and turned into a mystery, unraveling a mystery, but hey, I didn't plan on making it into this kind of video. It was meant to be a build video, but then I realized all these different things. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and seriously, comment if you know anything about this, because I'm actually super curious. So yeah, this has been Flashes. Thanks for watching. See ya.